And we're in court, baby. This is it, Judgment Day. Today, things are going to get settled at last. A lot of things. Wow! What's the big idea? Sorry, Nick. I only touched your shoulder. I guess the shock hasn't worn off from my run-in with the stun gun yesterday. Anyhow, today's the last day of the trial. Good luck, Nick! Yeah, thanks, Maya. Edgeworth is looking glum as always. I hope Von Carmen isn't pushing too hard. Whoa! What are you doing? Sorry, I'm sorry. I'm sorry! I just thought I'd cheer you up with a pat on the back. Maya, maybe you should go outside and discharge. Right, good idea! Try not to electrocute anyone on your way out. Oh yeah, pal! What's gotten into that girl? Detective Gumshoe! Morning, Mr. Edgeworth? Good morning. How did it go, Detective? Have no fear. As promised, I captured our runaway caretaker. I just brought him in. Took all night, pal. Thanks, Detective Gumshoe. You must be tired. Actually, after that shock I got on the way in, I feel pretty good. Yogi says he's forgotten his own name, but that has to be a lie. Why would he want revenge on Edgeworth if he couldn't remember his past? He does remember, and I'm going to prove it. Court is now in session for the trial of Miles Edgeworth. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is ready. Right. Very well. We have reached the final day of our proceedings in this trial. I ask the prosecution submit decisive evidence. Understood. Come on, don't be awed into silence by every little thing he says. Very well, Mr. Von Karma, your opening statement. Right. Thanks to Detective Gumshoe's efforts, the boat rental shop caretaker has been arrested. In yesterday's trial, the defense asserted that the caretaker was the murderer. However, the caretaker has yet to confirm this. I would like to ask the defense to cross-examine him as much as necessary. Very well. Please bring the witness into the courtroom. Ladies and gentlemen of the court, I believe you all remember our witness. He lives in the boat rental shop on the lake from where he witnessed the incident. In addition, he has currently lost memory of his name and identity. Witness! Why did you run away yesterday? The witness was not running away, as he will now testify. I see. Very well, please begin your testimony. I'm really sorry about just leaving yesterday like I did, but I wasn't running away or nothing. I, went to buy some food for Polly, see? I figured I got nothing to do with this incident anyhow. I mean, one of those motive things, right? And I ain't got one. So my testimony yesterday stands as is. Function. Very well. Let's begin the cross-examination, shall we? He has to know his name. Yanni Yogi. You're Yanni Yogi, and I'm going to prove it. Okay, let's look at our evidence real quick. Because this has 12/28/2001. Okay. Defense attorney trapped in an elevator returning from last trial. The son, Miles Edgeworth, age 9, one bullet found in the heart, murder weapon was fired twice. Suspect data: Yanni Yogi, court bailiff, trapped in the elevator with Edgeworth's memory lost due to oxygen deprivation after his arrest. Fiancée Polly Jenkins committed suicide. What a shame. Okay. Wasn't aware nothing, figured I got nothing to do with this incident anyhow. What makes you say that? You've lost much of your memory, is that correct? Yep, seems like it. Then how could you know that you didn't have anything to do with this incident? Or maybe you're lying about not having your memory, You know exactly who you are. witnesses testified quite clearly that he has no memory of who he is. If you claim he's lying, then show the court proof. How am I supposed to prove what's going on in that old codger's head? That's impossible. Oof. I'm glad you've come to your senses, Mr. Wright. Very well, witness, please continue. You don't got one, huh? How can you say you had no motive? I say you do. You had a grudge against Edgeworth and the victim, Robert Hammond. That's why you took revenge on them, right? Please don't make me repeat myself, Mr. Wright. This witness has no memory of anything beyond several years ago. He can't hold a grudge. It's impossible. I have to prove he's lying about his memory, otherwise it's going to be the same thing over and over until the trial ends. Might I say something, Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor? You've been saying the same thing now over and over. You've been calling the witness's memory of the past or lack thereof into question. But does this really have anything to do with the current case? Yep. Of course, Your Honor. The witness has said he has nothing to do with this case and no motive. Both of these statements are lies. Order! Order! Mr. Wright, there's a serious problem with your claim. Or are you saying you know who this witness is? Of course, Your Honor. Oh, now this is interesting. I would like to know myself. So who is he? Don't play dumb, Von Karma. Mr. Wright, please tell us this witness's name. It's YANNI YOGI. His name is YANNI YOGI, a former court bailiff. Yogi? That name seems familiar. Oh! YANNI YOGI, from the DL6 incident. Figures the judge would have heard of it. It was such a famous case. But what does this mean? Your Honor, if this man is Mr. Yogi, then he has a clear motive. Tisk, tisk, tisk. No. Jumping to conclusions again, Mr. Wright. This witness is YANNI YOGI? Fascinating. However, how do you propose to prove this to the court? This is a court of law, as you may recall. You need proof. And allow me to repeat once more that the witness has lost his memory. This is it. I have to do this now. If I can't prove he's Yogi right here, right now, then I've got nowhere else to go. Nick! How are you gonna prove it? How can you prove that he's YANNI YOGI? It's okay, it's actually quite simple. Your Honor, please take this man's fingerprints. Then we'll compare them to the fingerprints on file for YANNI YOGI 15 years ago. I see, that makes sense. Tisk, tisk, tisk. Huh? I'm so very, very sorry, Mr. Wright. Why? The witness has no fingerprints. What? What? No fingerprints? You see, before I worked as a caretaker, I worked at a chemical plant. I burned my fingers working with stuff. Yep. What? Yogi, you sneak! You burned your fingerprints off to hide your past. Well, if the witness has no fingerprints, I guess we will not be able to prove his identity. No! Tisk, tisk, tisk. Well, what will you do, Mr. Wright? It seems that the case has been decided, no? No! I know what happened. I know everything. I just can't prove it. But no, I can't let it end like this. I can't lose. There has to be another way. There is no one who can testify as to who this witness is. No one. Nick, what are we gonna do? I didn't even consider that he might have erased his fingerprints. What do I do? Tisk, tisk, tisk. Well, Mr. Wright, perhaps you'd like to cross-examine his parrot for a little comic relief, hmm? Yeah, very funny. You're a sore winner, Von Karma. Wait a second. Cross-examine his parrot? What is it, Nick? No, you're not gonna... Your Honor. The defense would like to take Mr. Von Karma up on his proposal. Take Mr. Von Karma up on my proposal? Exactly, Your Honor. I'd like to cross-examine the witness's pet parrot. Because that's admissible in a court of law. Order! Well, what do you think, Mr. Von Karma? Need you even ask? This is a farce. I object. Wait a second. You were the one who suggested I cross-examine the parrot, Von Karma. I have a right to do as you suggested. Well, if you're so desperate, then please be my guest. Of course, should you go through with this, and nothing comes of it, then I'd be ready for the consequences. Nick, this is crazy! Well, still want to go through with your little game? Yes! You cross-examine the parrot! Let the parrot take the stand. I'm a cross-examiner, Your Honor. This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Von Karma's rigged every person's testimony, every piece of evidence, except the parrot. She's my last chance. At least, I think so. Bailiff, ring in the parrot. Hello. That's quite a bird. Please tell us your name. Name! The witness is ignoring me. It must hurt to be ignored by a bird. Very well. Witness, who is your owner? Please, testify for us. Who's your owner? Hello! Hello! Cool. Good testimony. Certainly the most concise testimony we've had so far. Very well, begin your cross-examination. Right. What are you gonna do, Nick? I don't know. What do we do, Maya? Well... we're gonna press her statement. Witness, you can't just say hello and expect us to get anywhere. I want you to testify. Maya, you talk to her. Right! What do I say? Have we forgotten something? As I recall, 2 days ago. Polly, have we forgotten something? Rah! Don't forget DL6! Rah! If I can get Polly to say that here, that'll prove that the caretaker has something to do with DL6. Polly, have we forgotten something? Hello! Hello! Rah! That's not what you're supposed to say! Forgot! Something we forgot! Hello! Hello! Rah! Uh-oh, it's not working, Nick. She won't say it. This is ridiculous. Why won't she say it? Tisk. Something the matter, Mr. Wright. Wait. Don't tell me Von Karma expected this. He couldn't have retrained the parrot, could he? Did he train her not to respond when we asked if we'd forgotten anything? Well, I guess we should try to get some information out of her. We need to show the judge that our owner is Mr. Yogi. Witness! You can't just say hello and expect us to get anywhere. I want you to testify. Why don't you talk to her? What is the safe number? Maybe I'll get her to say the number of that safe. Huh? The safe? Why? Let's just try to get her to say anything, okay? Polly, what was the number to the safe in the shack? 1228! 1228! My, what a reckless parrot. Well, Mr. Wright, we weren't claiming that this number has something to do with the caretaker. Actually, it does. Because if you recall, that's why I had her say it. Ah, ridiculous. How can the number to a safe tell us who the caretaker is? Show us your proof. What could possibly link this number to the caretaker's true identity? If you recall... 1228. Take that! The DL6 case file. What is this obsession you have with that case? Mr. Wright, where in this file is something related to that safe number? Case summary. It's on the case summary page. The case summary? Specifically, the date on which the DL6 incident occurred. The date of the incident, December 28th. Why, that's today's date, 15 years ago. And the number on that safe is 1228. Ah! He used the date of the DL6 incident as the number for a safe, Your Honor! That's how important that date was to him! I see, it certainly is an interesting coincidence. People do often set secret numbers to dates. Their secret numbers to dates. Bah, this is not tangible proof. I set my ATM's card number to 0001 because I'm number 1. Thanks for telling us that. This has nothing to do with the date, nothing. Indeed. Alone it is a little weak for evidence in murder trial. We would need some other corroborating evidence. Where are we going to find that? Nick, we're getting closer! One more! If we can just get one more piece of evidence! Right, but what? Very well, witness, you may continue. Well... I have one more choice. What's your name? Maybe I should get her to say your name? Polly! Polly! What's your name? Polly! Polly! What? Mr. Wright! I think we've established that this parrot is named Polly. Does this have anything to do with her owner's identity? Of course, because if you recall... Ha, fascinating. You claim that the parrot's name will prove her owner's identity. Then show us this proof. Nick, don't you think you're taking the bluffing a little too far? Listen, we're not here to answer the question of who is the caretaker. We're here to prove that he is YANNI Yogi. All we have to do is tie the name Polly to Yogi. Your Honor, proof that the parrot's name reveals the caretaker's identity is... because if you recall... Polly Jenkins' fiance. The DL6 case file. That's quite a large file you have there. Which page is this proof on, then? Show us or stop wasting our time. Very well. Mr. Wright, please show us the page. Where in this file is the information connected to this parrot's name? Suspect data. It's on the suspect data page. This page has all the information about YANNI Yogi. Right after he was arrested, his fiancée committed suicide, see? Indeed, it does say that, yes. What was his fiancée's name? Polly Jenkins. Polly! Exactly, Your Honor. He wanted to remember the name of his fiancée who had committed suicide. That's why he named his parrot after her. I see. I guess that is possible. Bah, a mere coincidence, that's all. My granddaughter has a dog she calls Phoenix. Well, Mr. Phoenix Wright, does this make you my granddaughter's fiancé? She's only 7 years old. Or she's only 7 years old. That's enough. I think we've reached a conclusion here. This is a mere coincidence, that's all. True, that is a possibility. However, two coincidences at the same time seems more like a pattern to me. What are you saying? Summon the caretaker of the boat shop. Immediately. Witness, tell us your name. Wait, this witness, he doesn't remember. No, it's okay. Huh? Oh. Demeanor change. I've accomplished what I wanted to do. I'm done. Nick, he looks totally different! This is the real Yogi, I think, finally. He's been acting feeble to hide his true identity. Acting for 15 years. Well, let me ask you again. Please state your name for the court. My name is YANNI Yogi. 15 years ago, I served as a bailiff in this very court. I'm not getting his voice right at all. It's fine. Order! Order! YANNI Yogi. So was it you who killed Robert Hammond? And tried to frame Miles Edgeworth for his death? Yes, it was me. I did it. They put me on the witness stand 15 years ago. Robert Hammond, he said he was mentally unsound. He told me it would make me innocent, get me off the hook. So, I pretended to have brain damage. I was innocent, really, but he didn't believe me. We won the trial, but I lost everything. I lost my job, my fiancé, my social standing. Then this year, 15 years later, a package arrived. It was a letter and a pistol. The plan was written out in careful detail. It was a plan for me to take my revenge on the people who ruined my life. I didn't care who had sent it. I thought this was my chance. After 15 years, this was it. Finally, a chance to have my revenge on Robert Hammond, Miles Edgeworth. I have no regrets. Wait a moment. Revenge against Miles Edgeworth? What do you mean? I'm not at liberty to speak on that matter. Why don't you ask Mr. Edgeworth yourself? Anyway, I admit it. I was the one who killed Robert Hammond. Wow. Von Karma, where is Mr. Yogi? Under arrest, Your Honor. I saw no room for error in his confession. Then the defendant, Miles Edgeworth, is innocent, in this case at least. Very well. Will the defendant please take the stand? There are are a few mysteries left unsolved. Still, you were cleared of suspicion for this particular case. So I would like to pass judgment on the murder of Mr. Robert Hammond. Any objections? I don't believe it. Why isn't Von Karma saying anything? Very well. This court finds the defendant, Mr. Miles Edgeworth, not guilty. That is all. This court is adjourned.
Objection!
Yeah. Did someone just say objection? It wasn't Von Karma. Wait, but that means no. Edgeworth? Your Honor, I object to your judgment. What do you mean? I'm not innocent at all. As we've heard, YANNI YOGI killed Robert Hammond in revenge. But revenge for what? Nick! Edgeworth is trying to confess! He's going to say he's guilty! He's going to tell them he was the murderer in the DL6 incident! He's going to tell them he killed his own dad! Shut up, Maya! Oh, what do I do? Raise an objection. The judgment has already been passed. I object to Edgeworth's outburst. Didn't something like this happen yesterday, too? I believe a certain witness raised an objection after a guilty verdict was passed. That would be Larry. You must hear this new statement. We must hear Miles Edgeworth. He's right. You have a duty to hear Miles Edgeworth out. Oh, baby. For 15 years, I have had a recurring dream. A nightmare. It's only a nightmare. That's what I told myself. But now I know it wasn't a dream. YANNI YOGI wasn't the killer. You mean in the incident where your father died? From the distance of the shot, it wasn't suicide either. Everything was as clear as day. The murderer. The criminal in the DL6 incident. It was me. Your Honor, I confess my guilt. I am guilty for DL6, the statute of limitations of which ends today. The culprit is me. Couldn't have just waited one more day. Order, order. This is certainly unexpected. Defendant declared innocent is confessing to a different crime. A crime for which the statute of limitations runs out today. I'm not really sure how I should deal with this. Bah. It's obvious. We hold a trial, right here, right now. We tried this man for the crime of 15 years ago. I think I'd like to take a 5-minute recess. During this time, I will consider the appropriate course of action to take. Court is adjourned. I'm sorry, Wright. I just wasted all of your effort. Mr. Edgeworth, I just don't believe it, sir. I mean, you kill your dad? I didn't want to believe it myself, Detective. But it's the truth. I deserve to be punished. Murder is murder no matter what the circumstances. This is crazy! Just crazy! Nick? What are you doing? Huh? Oh. I was just reading through the court record once more. I'm getting my case ready. Your case? For what? Huh? Isn't it obvious? I'm gonna prove that Miles Edgeworth is innocent. What are you talking about, pal? He just admitted to it. He confessed that he did it. In court. I'm sorry, Edgeworth, but I don't believe your nightmare. What? It's just a dream. It's not real. The truth is right here in this court record. In any case, tighten your belts. The real fight is just beginning. I'll prove you're innocent. Trust me. Right. Now then, I would like to resume our trial. Judge. Miles Edgeworth has admitted his own guilt. He has confessed his crime. Let us begin by hearing his testimony. Then, though pointless, let the defense do their cross-examining. The statute of limitations in the DL6 incident runs out today. Though it's unconventional for me, I'd like to run this one by the book. I see. Does the defense have any objections? No. Nope, Your Honor. Nope, Your Honor. Von Karma, you knew this was going to happen from the very beginning, didn't you? Very well. Mr. Miles Edgeworth. Well, Miles Edgeworth, take the stand. Not Mr. just Miles. Please read it as Mr. Will the witness state his name and profession? Miles Edgeworth. I'm a prosecuting attorney. Mr. Edgeworth, 15 years ago, you mistakenly killed your father, Gregory Edgeworth. Is this correct? It is correct. Then testify about this matter to the court. When Edgeworth was telling me about his dream yesterday, I noticed something. One detail didn't quite fit. That will be the key, but only if I can get it to work. Please! Please! That day, I had gone to the courtroom to observe one of my father's trials. As we went to leave, an earthquake struck, trapping us in the elevator. My father and Mr. Yogi lost their composure and began to argue. Just then, something heavy fell at my feet. I picked it up and threw it at Mr. Yogi. I wanted them to stop fighting. A moment later, there was a single gunshot, then a scream. There was a terrible scream. I remember it to this day. That's all. Oh, sir. Until now, you thought this memory was a dream? We were stuck in that elevator for 5 hours. The oxygen in the elevator ran out and I lost my memory of the events. Bah, the same claim Mr. Yogi has made. Very well. Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, please. Yes, Your Honor. Alright, here we go. Day, went to leave, father, Mr. Yogi lost something argue, something heavy fell at your feet. There's a single gunshot and then a scream. A single gunshot, eh? The murder weapon was fired twice, baby! Objection! Are you sure you only heard one gunshot? Yes, I'm sure of that. I heard the shot and the scream. Then everything faded. I was unconscious until the rescuers came. I see. No, Your Honor, unfortunately you don't. Look at this file one more time. This plainly contradicts the witness's testimony. You do enjoy dragging out that file, don't you? I don't accept this evidence unless you can tell us what page it's on. Which page contradicts Miles Edgeworth's testimony? Victim data. Look at the victim data in this file. It says it quite plainly. The murder weapon was fired twice. Miles Edgeworth only heard one gunshot, yet the murder weapon was fired twice. The first shot was the accidental firing when the pistol was thrown. So, who fired the remaining shot? Was there perhaps another shooter who fired that second shot? Your Honor, as I'm sure you're aware, this incident occurred 15 years ago. The evidence is dated. The pistol did fire twice. However, we do not know when that second shot was fired. It might have been fired the day before the incident. There is no proof that the second shot had anything to do with this incident. What? I see, I see. You do have a point, Mr. Wright. The murder weapon was fired twice, as we have heard. One of those shots was fired by the defendant, a boy at the time. Do you have any proof that the other shot fired had something to do with the case? Yes, I do. Your Honor, I think I'll be able to show you proof. What? Impossible. No, no, Mr. Von Karma. Save your surprise for after you've seen the evidence. Very well, Mr. Wright. Show us your proof. Do you have evidence that the second firing of the pistol's realized? Yes, I do. This. Look at this photograph. Every time I do it makes me laugh. No more. This is a photograph of the scene of the crime 15 years ago. I can see that the victim lying there is Gregory Edgeworth. This proves the murder fire was weapon twice. This proves the murder weapon was fired twice at the time of the incident. This photo proves it. So let me get this straight. This photo proves 2 shots were fired. Where? Your Honor, please, please get a clue. Because he is obviously dead. You can see that. But there's a bullet hole right here. Take that! Where did that come from? As should be obvious, the contradiction is here. I see, a bullet hole in the door. Your Honor! Gregory Edgeworth was killed by a shot from the pistol. Yet there's also a bullet hole in the elevator door. We also know that the murder weapon was fired twice. Thus, someone other than Edgeworth fired that second shot. Order! Order! Mr. Wright, what are you driving at? It's simple, Your Honor. At the time of the incident, 2 shots were fired. One went into Gregory Edgeworth's heart, the other hit the elevator door. Remember that the defendant lost consciousness after the shot he fired rang out. In conclusion, we must agree that the second shot was fired by someone else. Mr. Wright, but who could that someone else be? The murderer, of course. I knew I should have stepped in before your wild fantasies got out of hand. Mr. Wright, look once more at the DL6 incident case file. Look closely. Try the case summary page. Case summary? That's on page 1. Look what is written there. Not a single clue was found in the scene. If the pistol had indeed been fired 2 times, then the other bullet would have been discovered on the scene. He does have a point. That second bullet has never been found. Why? Because the second bullet does not exist. The bullet that claimed Gregory Edgeworth's life was the one fired by his own son. That is the truth of this matter. The whole truth. It was undoubtedly something else that made the bullet hole in the door. Haven't figured it out yet? Do you know where it is? Order! I will have order! Mr. Wright has proven one thing to us quite clearly, that the murder weapon was fired twice at the time of the incident. However, as Mr. Von Karma says, the second bullet fired was not found. It is highly unlikely that the police merely overlooked the second bullet. So all we have is a single bullet fired. I'm afraid I have to discount the defense's claim. Tisk, tisk, tisk. I praise the judge for his wisdom in this matter. Gah, how did this happen? I don't believe that the second bullet didn't exist. Was I wrong? You're gonna look at me and tell me that I'm wrong? Have I been wrong about this whole incident? What are you doing, Nick? Why aren't you raising the objection? I'm sorry, Maya. What? It looks like I was wrong. Nick? If the second bullet wasn't there, then all my conjectures are for nothing. No! But you said you do it, Nick! You said you get Edgeworth declared innocent! I'm sorry. It's just when I saw the photograph, I thought the 2 shots had been fired. I was so certain of it, I thought I'd won. I thought there was another person, someone else who fired the killing shot. But now, I was wrong to think it could be that simple. This case is still unsolved for 15 years. Nick! Well, it seems that we have finally cleared up this incident. Only 1 bullet was found at the scene of the crime. That shot was fired by Miles Edgeworth. Precisely. I would like to ask one thing of Miles Edgeworth before passing my verdict. Have you been paying attention to the trial so far? Yes, Your Honor. Do you have any objections? No. No, I do not. So you killed your father, though that was not your intention? Yes, I did. Oh no. He's accepted the guilt! Very well. The statute of limitations on the murder of Gregory Edgeworth runs out today. Therefore, I must pronounce a verdict on the defendant today, right here. Right now. Indeed. Does anyone have any objections? I've been here before. It's just like my first day in court. There are so many things I know I should be saying, but my mind's gone blank. I can't find the words. Mr. Wright?
Objection!